Hello, hello. So
Hello.
welcome. I'm so excited to have you here, Rosie. You have no idea.
Oh my God, me
Girlfriend,
too, me too, me too. We're gonna be talking card decks, my favorite thing.
I know. As soon as we met, we just hit it off. And I was like, oh,
We
girl, we
did.
got to let people know what you do because this is amazing and this is a game changer. And I am
Yeah.
so excited about this. So let's say hi to everybody out there. Where's everybody checking in from?
Hello.
I want
Hi,
you to
hi.
let us know where you're dialing in from, right? So, what state? I, of course, am in the great state of Texas. Is there any other state? Oh, Rosie, you're not in Texas, though. Where are you from?
I'm in the great state of New Jersey, the
New
Garden State,
Jersey.
Jersey tomatoes and all that good stuff.
That's right. My honey's from New York. So, Jersey's right next door. It's close enough.
Yeah,
Your family.
yeah. We
Let
have
us know
another.
where
We
you.
have another Texas, Robert from Frisco.
Hi, honey.
Oh, that's your honey.
That's honey. Yeah, DFW, Texas. Yeah, let us know. Also, let us know what you do. We want to know a little bit about what your career is, what your title, what your position, whatever it is. This way we can kind of give examples and ideas based on, what you're doing with your business, because then we can be like, oh, card decks might be a great idea for, right? So
Oh
we can
yeah,
custom what we're
yeah.
talking about a little bit based on what you're doing. So let us know, put it in chat what it is. If you're a web designer, if you are a customer service specialist, if you're a CPA, Robert Gralla, you know, absolutely no problem to shut that one out, in case you were wondering. So I see I've got lots of Texas people in the house.
Legal Shields.
Woot,
Yeah.
well, so we're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about card decks. And when you say card decks, I'm like, what is that? And then, but before we jump in, Rosie, tell them a little bit about you because I adore you, but they don't know you yet. So tell them a little bit about who you
Yeah.
are, how you got involved in this.
Yeah, well, real quickly, like I just love making things from the time I was little. I was just always making stuff like physical products and then making businesses out of them. And I range from all the way from fashion to, hand painted things to, books and journals. But I fell in love with card decks just because like I loved using them. They really helped me in many situations. And we talked about like flashcards as a kid, right? With learning the multiplication tables and my dad sitting there like flashing cards. So, so I would get an A in every class.
Right. Those are the
And
old school. Those are the old
old
flashcards,
school.
the boring ones,
That's
right?
right.
That's
We
not what
don't
they're like today.
we don't do boring. We do not do boring. But anyway, what really excited me about the card decks was like I would have clients saying to me, I know you have a book and you have a cookbook and all this, but I just wish you were like on my shoulder. And I'm like, oh, well, how can I do that? Well, I can do that with like one small step at a time. So that's what I'm going to take you through today, showing you like all the different ways, like real people using real card decks that they've created in different situations to kind of get your genius going. I'm like, oh my God, like put yourself in a situation like how could that work for me? Because there's not a business out there that cannot use this tool. Like everyone can, because like we're just an overwhelmed society. And so our job is to make things as streamlined as possible for people. So that's what I'm going to show you.
Well, so I want to see. I think you've got them in
I
your
do. I
hand.
have I have like cards all over the place.
Look at
This is
that.
this right here. What I wanted to show you is a financial advisor. And she's got 4 different sets and she takes you through this deck. I think there's 52 in here. So what she says is that every single week, if you do 1 card a week, you will change your financial situation in a year just by doing these things. And I think, because you don't know what you don't know. And like, it's kind of overwhelming if you think, oh my God, I have all these things. Like for the person that's like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't know the first step. Like here, start here. Like, think about that. It's really kind of cool.
I love that, right? Financial. Okay, so you guys know financial planners, all those. Tag them, let them know what's going on because they're always looking for ways to help their clients. They're always looking for ways
Yeah.
to connect with people. So this is a great tool. How do you set yourself apart from the other financial advisors? Well, I have this really awesome tool that's going to help you
That's right.
be more effective with your money, save you money, whatever that is. I love this, Rosie. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tracy's saying she's been waiting for something like this because there's a lot of information out there and you need to stand out. And the thing is, it's not even just stand out. It's like, how do you make the biggest difference? How do you make that move? How do you help your client shift? So that is what I'm going to show you today. And I'm going to also take you through a couple questions that are going to like really prompt you, Tracy, and others to like, oh, that's a great idea. That's what my cards can do. That's what I'll be talking to.
Well, I know Tracy just had been working on her program. We talked about it not that long ago. And I think this is one of those that are going to be really valuable to go along with her program. And I think a lot of people are going to find like, oh, yeah.
Yep, definitely. All right. So shall we start?
We can. All right. Slide 1, slide 2.
You're going to go with slide 1. Slide 1 works. All right. So welcome to Card Deck Mastery, right? Where you build your business, your client, and your revenue growth with this particular amazing product. So we already know kind of why you're here. You put it in the chat, but like you asked the question, Christine, when you first met me, and you know, you guys are probably saying like, okay, that's great, but like, what do you even mean by a card deck? And so many people say that, like, I don't understand really, like, so what? Who cares? What am I going to do about that? Right. So you probably most likely are familiar, like we talked about the flashcards. You talk about playing cards with your parents or your grandparents when you were small. You might have had a tarot card reading. You might have played with angel cards, right? And these are all like amazing. But what really is a card deck? Right? We know it's a two-sided thing, a piece of paper that we have, but it is where you get your questions answered, right? Direction, guidance, support. But a card is, you know, a piece of paper, right? You can have any amount of cards in your deck, and they can be any size, and they solve any problem, and they can be used by any business. So that side. Okay, these are just a couple of examples of different kinds of coaches, right? So look at all the different kinds of coaches, like a sleep coach, a stepmom coach, a Reiki masters, a video coach, oil painter, color therapist, like whatever it is that you do. You know, if you're a legal shield, if you have like a legal advice, like think about like how you can help people even with something like that. And so I want you to write this down. This is important. These are 5 things that card decks could do. And this is by their very nature. So like just automatically, they're going to engage, they're going to educate, they're going to enhance, they're going to encourage, they're going to empower. So your deck is going to fit into at least one of these categories and maybe multiples of them, which is cool.
All right. So take a moment, y'all, as you're watching this and think about it. You know, which part of that is really making you think, right? Take a screenshot so you remember it, but think what's instinctively, what are you thinking? Engage? You want to engage your audience more? Is there something you want to educate them about, right? Do you want to enhance their experience on something? Maybe you've got, you know, some isms, some quotes, right, that you like to share that people are like, oh, right, that kind of stuff. This is it, right? Make a note, put it in chat, right? Help yourself remember.
That's it. So if you think about like, this is really important to hone in on. What are you really doing with the card deck, right? Again, I talked about, you know, you're staying physically connected, like even when you're not there, like that small little whisper on someone's shoulder, right? You are definitely shortening the learning process for people, and you're making it fun. And guess what? We learn better if we're having fun, because we remember the fun thing. If it's like, oh my God, I don't feel like doing this, like we're not getting very
nobody wants to study. That doesn't even sound fun.
Right. And we are delivering the solution in a memorable fashion. So, I mean, if we think about too, and I'll get more into this later, but the amount of people that finish courses that you have or programs that you kind of leave out there in a video for them to watch, it's very small.
Right.
I'm going to have you guess the number later, and you're not going to believe it. But, you know, this is something that's going to really support and help them. So who's ready? Tell me in the chat. Tell us, are you ready to be the solution? Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Because here's what people remember. They remember only 10% of what they read, 20% of what they hear, 30% of what they see, 70% of what we say, but 90% of what they experience. So think about when they're actually touching something. Robert is the solution. When they're
he is. The CPA is always the solution. And I see Rich is mentioning here about talking about the neurology of we learn better when we're having fun, because he's got a whole program based on that concept. And
Oh my
he's
God.
right. It's so important.
Okay. So Rich, we need to talk because absolutely you're bringing like, it's kind of like if you can consider it really a gamification even, right?
Mhm. Absolutely.
So yeah, because it's the experience again. And also this is like super valuable and important. Repetition is the name of the game. It's the mother of learning, father of action, right? And that's what
Right.
makes us accomplish. That's what makes us, really anchor in the things that like feel hard, maybe, right? But they're
Well,
not.
and Rosie, my background's teaching. So I taught college
Ah,
communications courses, and we talked about learning styles, right? And there's something about cards and then being hands-on that just really lends to the learning process. If you're more of a tactile person, active, right? Moving the cards around helps,
that's
right?
right.
Gives you something to do. It's a lot easier than just holding a book and you're like, oh,
Totally.
it's harder to interact with,
Yeah.
right? Those that are
Yeah.
visual, those that want to hear it and can say the words out loud, and it's short bites of information. I
Yeah.
love cards for learning.
Right. Totally. All right. So you can be the game changer for your client, like pulling them up, rising them up and really helping them be successful, right? Because if they don't finish, they're not being successful. So let's kind of focus in and just take a couple minutes and kind of come up with an idea for you. Okay. You're here for a reason. You're listening to this. Like, what could your card deck possibly look like? So we're going to go through 3 questions that every card decorator has to answer to come up with their deck. So the first one, what solution do you provide for your clients? So maybe like say a healthcare practitioner specializing in aromatherapy. And one of the things you teach people is, how to mix different oils for situations or seasons. So maybe the solution is to give them a recipe or explain to them what each of the oils do.
Go ahead, put that in chat. What solution do you provide for the people you service? Right?
Yeah,
Share that. You never know. Someone else might be interested in your
that's
services.
true.
So,
We networking here also.
oh, absolutely. Networking is part of everything we do.
That's right. That's why we're here with the networking diva. So of course. All right. So that would be your first question. Your second question is going to be, this one is my favorite question, I have to tell you, because if you think about the path that you took to get here, you learned a lot of things along the way. So what do you wish? Oh my God, I wish I knew this. Like we always say that. I wish I knew this sooner, or someone had told me this like in a better way that I could have actually, anchored it in. What would you have loved someone to teach you 10 years ago?
Ooh, good question. What would you have loved someone to teach you 10 years ago? So that's a whole, what do you wish you had known then that you know now?
Yeah,
Right?
right.
That would have made your journey easier. Right? Ooh, good question. And we've got comments in the audience talking about there's tax solutions, public speaking, visibility, family counseling, yes, and personal
Yeah,
deep connections. Wish they knew more about planning strategies. Ooh, these are good topics,
yeah.
right? Coaches,
Super
healers get
cool.
more clients by seeing online as an expert, right? So this also helps them show that they're
So
an
good.
expert. I love
So
it.
good. All right. So then the last question is, again, how do you make things easier for your client? So,
Mhm.
so an example is like if you're a personal trainer, you know, um, how do you make it easier? Well, maybe you have some recipes that they can like quickly pick up in the store, like 3-ingredient recipes, or maybe there's some workouts that they can do on their living room floor while watching TV or in a hotel room. So you're just making it really easier. All right. So how do you do that?
Yeah, I love that idea, right? Because that's really what we're trying to do. If you're a coach, anything along those spaces where you help people out, right? When you're guiding people with your
Right.
expertise, our goal is always to make life easier for our
Always.
clients, not harder,
Right.
right? So,
Exactly. And that's why you have the business that you have, because you're making someone's something easy. You're solving some problem. So this is your like your solution statement, say, right? And type it into the chat if you want to share it. My cards take people from blank to blank. So what's the problem? The first line is for the problem. The second line is for the solution.
right. So my cards take people from insert here to
Blank,
insert
blank.
here. All right. So They take them, and I'm gonna go with you on this one, Rosie. Here we go. So as the networking diva, I'm gonna say, because I'm probably gonna have to make some cards here. My cards take people from feeling nervous about networking to feeling confident when they walk into a networking event.
Yeah, because
Ooh.
if you think about it, you're sitting in the car, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to go in. And you're the type of person that's like, oh, I don't know the first thing to say. It's so awkward, right?
Right?
Imagine if you're like, okay, let me flip through really quick here. And now I have like at least a question I can ask, or, or something that I could say
Right. But
that
you
I
can't
normally,
pull out a whole book and go through a
no,
whole book before you walk into a meeting, right?
right,
But you could review a couple of card decks
right.
and kind of just breathe and,
Yep,
and be ready to roll, right?
yep. And we have Cheryl from confusion to clarity. That's awesome. Or
Ooh,
looking
nice.
for a better workbook to a better way. Yeah, awesome. I love it. I love it so much. All right, cool. So you kind of like have like your idea now, right? And this will be percolating like all day, and you'll be thinking about it. Trust me, the ideas start to drop in.
You're gonna
Like,
wake up in the middle of the night like me and be,
totally.
oh,
No,
I
like I've literally had people after the end of this, they'll wake up in the morning like, oh my God, I have 100 ideas. So,
know.
all right. So that's always so good. So again, okay. So now you kind of say, pretend you have kind of your deck. How are you going to use it in your business? So that's what I'm going to take you through 10 game changing things that you can do. And these are all tried and true, real people doing real things, which is super cool and super fun to see. All right. So number one is connection. So again, like we know, everything's digital, right? Which is awesome and great, but
Yeah.
it's nice to have a physical product in your hand, right? They get to bring it home. It sits on their desk. It's not something that they put away. They get a grip on it. They're holding it and all of that. And you are like the tool. You are like in their pocket, on their shoulder, however you want to see, in their purse. You're carried around. This right here is, think about, these are just some fun packaging things. And when I
Okay.
got that card deck with the little furry thing, I was like, oh my God, I love this. But imagine like you can send, this is a great thing to have that you can send to clients also as a thank you gift. Thanks for coaching with me. Thanks for joining my program. Welcome. Happy birthday, whatever. So that's super, super
Of course,
great.
I'm going glitter, glitter, diva style.
Of course. Like, it's branded without being something that has your logo on it. It's like, it's your style, but it's not like, it doesn't have to say your stuff all over it. It's something that's helping them. So they can also be like limited edition packaging. Like you can see the little Eat the Pickle deck up on the top. So her that's the name of her cards. And we put it in a little pickle bag, which was just so fun, right? Limited edition, whatever. Then we have Lorraine's Cosmic Law deck, and she's got a little charm, a crystal, a sage, a candle.
She's got a whole
Again,
little package. It's not even just the card. She put
exactly.
other little things with
Right.
it. Oh, I was just thinking about, entrepreneurs will go to events and sometimes they're looking for swag bags.
Exactly.
Fun stuff.
100%. So good. And I've even been to events where, you can take one of your card decks to an event and you can say, okay, I'm going to pass it around. Everybody pick a card. And then everybody gets to take that card home. It's not like they're taking your business card home, but guess what? They're taking a card home that they're going to keep because this card had some meaning on it for them. So even just that is like so much fun and so cool. Okay, so we don't just make card decks, we make card deck kits. So Sandra here has hers packaged in a tin, which is so cool. And she has a whole bunch of other things in here, like a thing of Post-it notes and a charm, and each of them do different things. And you can see these other different cards that stand out from the rest of them. So again, you're making more than, you're not just making a card deck. You are taking people through your system, your process, and the opportunity to work with you in just a different way. It's a serious anchoring in of a new process. So, I mean, it's super valuable and super cool. So think about like what you could add to a card deck that would help people in whatever, genre you're working in.
Oh, that's a great question. Put that in chat if you had an idea of what you might want to do for your bag or what you might want to add into that little case that has the cards in it. Yeah, make a note of that. Remember what that is.
Yeah. And then, I mean, again, we're always on the other end of a computer, for digital entrepreneurs, whatever. And it's really cool to make more of a connection with your client when you send something in the mail. It's like a kid at Christmas going to the mailbox, right? It just feels a little bit different and a little bit more special.
People love gifts, right? So a little gift
Totally.
that shows up in the mail, that definitely is going to distinguish you from other people, right?
Right.
You
And
so
something
rarely
and a
see
gift
that.
that is a tool that works, right? It does more. It's not just a gift, like you say, oh, this was so sweet. Okay.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
another
I
mug
love
with the
this.
company name on it or something. No.
Right?
Right?
Here's my coffee mug that nobody except the business owner actually enjoys, right? This
Exactly.
is something
Right.
you put in their hands that they're actually going to enjoy and use and have fun with.
Yeah, totally. Totally great. All right. So number 2 is events. So this is just a little example. This is Louis has video cards. So every card gives you a prompt for a video. And what he did, he said, I showed my audience, I spoke in a room, I showed my audience, and I was literally mobbed at the end. This was the text that he sent me. Because it's like what they call that back of the room rush. People want to take something home. Like if you go and you deliver this great speech, they're like, oh, I want to take you. They're all excited. And here's these decks. So he said when he got home, he had to like mail them because he didn't have enough of them. And then here's, you can match it to a journal. You can set up the table. This is an event. This is Deane Graciosi, for those of you who know who he is, Tony Robbins' partner, who I created this deck for him, and he, presented it at an event. And that was like super cool because, people can't help but share them. Everybody picked them up off the table and was like, oh my God, blah, 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 and like taking pictures with them. So they do things like that without you even you don't have to ask them to like share. They're already sharing the event. So that is like super cool. So think about how you could use a tool like this to bring to an event and the kind of, excitement you can drum up and the gift they get to bring home with you. So think about that. And let me know in the chat if like that sounds like so cool. All right. And here, this is after, like the after party where people were like, oh, I have it on my desk at all times. It's sitting right next to me because people are not going home and putting that away. It's like sitting there and they're flipping through it,
They're
while they're
using
at
it.
the computer. They're using it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's super cool. All right. So that is the connection. And then we have content. So here's what people are always worried about. What am I going to put? But I promise you, if you have a business, you already have content. Even if it's just right now, it's in your head, floating around. Or like me yesterday, I was going through old blogs and I'm like, oh my God, I have like a book. This is a book. This is a chapter of a book. I have like 12 years of a blog. Like consider, like you have
Most of us have a book in our head, all right? It's just waiting
exactly
to come out.
right. And so you have a card deck in your head waiting to come out too.
Exactly.
And that could be posts that you've made. Like if you go back and you look at your Instagram or your LinkedIn feed or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, yes, I'm actually saying something, but people don't see it all together. And imagine if I pulled it all together.
Yeah,
Right.
earlier this week, I was just going through and organizing my past podcasts, and I was like, "Oh, I've had some really great people on here, right?" I'm like, "Ooh!" So I started gathering them. I'm like, "There's little tidbits of wisdom from all of these. Imagine, right?"
100%. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So this is a quick example. This is Dr. Yam. She does social balance, and you can see her cards are a really cool shape. But you pick 5 of these cards, and I'm sorry, you pick 6. You have one day off, and this is a social media posts. So there are different categories and different. So every time you pull a card, you have a different, uh, ideas that come out, and it's never the same. And so how
Cards for
cool.
inspiration. Nice.
Right. And it also stops you from like when you're like, oh, I'm gonna make a post. You have this great intention, and then you're like, oh, but I don't know what to say. Okay. Now the
And
card's
then you
going
don't,
to
right?
guide you, and now you know what to say, and you don't have that excuse anymore, right? And Cheryl, like for example, checklists or schedule,
Well,
totally
she was
things like
asking about, are the cards laminated so they can use as a template and do it over and over again and erase and redo, or
you can definitely do that. The most of these cards are not where people write on them, but I have done ones where you can, and it depends on the paper you pick. So that is definitely an option.
okay.
Yeah, there's nothing that's not an option. So just let me say that. All right. So that's why it's such a fun. That's why I love it so much, because it's like everyone's is so different because there's, the creativity is like, it's just.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but it's something that you did a check mark on and then you wanted to wipe it off and do it.
I mean, yes,
Yeah,
totally, with a special pen or whatever.
yeah.
So so you just saw her cards, And what she also did, now think about this. This is freaking genius. She also has a platform where you have your calendar and it posts, it sends your posts out, like your scheduled posts and all that. So think about how freaking cool. She's got the card deck that supports the platform that supports the card deck, but overall picture is her business, her brand, and the big problem that she's solving for people. So you are going to, it's not that you're just taking random content. You're just pulling in to what you're already doing and just making it better. So that's like super cool. All right.
Because you're reinforcing what you're already doing. It's just another avenue.
Exactly. So
Nice.
this I called, purpose, because we all are like now wanting to live our purpose, right? Live on purpose, live our purpose, be our purpose, all of that.
That's right. It's all purpose driven. Absolutely.
Right. So this is an example of Alex. So you can see on the left there, she's got the Mindful Walker, which is a book on why walking is so powerful. And then on the right, she has a card deck, which I thought this was so genius because I didn't even know this existed. It's like, okay, the people that read that book, okay, great. I get the concept. It's really good to take a walk. Everybody here listening knows like it's really powerful to take a walk. And you might say, oh God, another walk. Now she's got a card deck with 52 ways to take a walk. Now you got like no more excuses. Like she just took away every objection.
I don't think I could even come up with 52 ways to take a walk. So it's good that we have people to inspire us.
Right. That's what I mean. And then you could have fun with it. You could be like, oh my God, like you feel accomplished. I tried 52 new different ways to take a walk. It's like, it's just really, really cool. So she's, so she took it a step further than this even, and she created a delivery system for that, right? She has a walk the year, 52-week journal to help you get connected with nature. So she's got all of this, like from the book to the card deck to this full-on year course. So this is what I mean when I want you to start thinking about how do you incorporate it into what you're already doing and make what you're doing even more impactful and beneficial, because ultimately then that's how you help people. That's how you really give your gift. So it's a beautiful thing. So, you all know you have to be on social media. Some people love it. Some people don't like it so much, but cards, because of their, visual, right? They're visual, they're pretty, and there's something in your hand. So you can be out there using cards as a prompt or a prop, right? Right in front of you. You could be reading it. You have direction, you have focus on what you're talking about. These are like 2 reels that people did. You can also, like I figured out, and I actually have a little, thing where I teach people this, how to put yourself inside of your own card deck. So you could see, this is one of my card decks and I put myself in it. And it's actually a reel of me talking inside of my card deck. And also this one too. So there's so many fun things that you could do that you can't really do with other kind of
I
products.
love this, Rosie, because like you said, sometimes you get stuck, but if you have a card deck, it's already bite-sized information. It's like perfect for social media. It's bite-sized information, which is what social media is all about.
Right. So who could see themselves like, oh my God, I can totally get on front of the camera for 30 seconds while I read my card. Right.
Right.
Like there's nobody that can't do that. It's that, because it makes it simple also for you. And then, as a gorgeous visual tool, they just work on every platform because it's a picture, right? And then you can have a conversation about it. You can do a little, card pullings on YouTube show or on a podcast. And then we move on to courses, because courses are all the rage. And what did I just tell you? I told you I was going to give you a special number. So here's the number. But this is not like the percentage that you're making in the stock market or whatever. 92% is the people that do not, do not finish your courses.
Oh, that's brutal.
It's brutal.
92% don't finish a course. So they sign up for the course, they pay for it, and then they don't finish it. So then they pay for something that they didn't actually get any value out of. So now who's the bad guy here?
Right. And then
you end up being the bad guy because they didn't finish your course and they wasted all that money, right?
They're pissed at you. They're pissed at yourself. But imagine if you had something that can really guide them along, right? So whatever that looks like in the teaching tool, I could talk about this transformational teaching tool. So an example is I have my card deck creation course, which I'll tell you about at the end. And then I have like a marketing program, but in between there, I have this card deck as a teaching tool. And my card deck is 50 ways to use your card deck. So there's 50 different ideas that you can do. So you can try one every week for a whole year and see which things you really love doing. But this is just to really show you that, again, the card fits into what you're already doing, just again enhancing and giving people another reason that they can finish and absorb your content, you know, in a different kind of way, because everyone learns, like, really, we learn differently.
Right. And I could see if you picked up the card, you said, "Ooh, that's good." And then I need to go sign into that class.
Yeah, exactly. And so you might be saying, okay, but do some math for me here, Rosie, like with like how I'm going to make some money on this. But say you just, you know, this is what one girl did with her moon, I forget what they were called, moon, cosmic something,
They
moon.
really are. Look at that. They're cosmic cards.
Yeah, they're moon, right. Numerology, cosmic energy forecast deck. And she trains people and certifies them in using her deck. So 10 people, $500. She's just made $5,000. You just need 10 people, right? And, you know, they're certified and now they're using your deck. So think of how that's multiple out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Bringing it into your business as part of the training and training them how to use something. That's next level. I love it.
It's amazing, right? It's like, it's super cool. And then we have challenges, and this is something that Lou did, and he took his 30 days of, he called it short shot. So it's 30 days like of you doing a short form video on YouTube or TikTok, right? And 50 people signed up at $97, and again, $5,000. So, you know, either way you go, you know, if you want a low ticket offer or a high ticket offer, like, it's kind of a game changer,
Yeah.
right?
And there's a lot of coaches I know that like to do challenges. So
Yeah.
attaching these to a challenge. Ooh,
So fun because,
like it.
right. And then people are moved by action, and this is like actionable, right? So another thing is collaboration, because, you know, in this day and age, we're all about collaboration, right? So one of my card deck students did this course on financial empowerment deck for women. And this is more about your mindset than the other one that I showed you. So everyone, again, has a different take. But like, imagine this deck going along with the deck that's more practical and making even like super powerful, like collaborative tool. So you can, it's as easy, like think of someone else that's in your field that would appreciate having your delicious content as a tool to help their clients. And you collaborate with a partnership like that. And then the other example is, this is one of my students that she said, okay, I'm going to start with 50 cards. I'm really afraid to do this many. She was doing this pop-up shop, and she sold all of them to the first person that walked in, who bought all of them. And she bought them. She wasn't a coach. She was an interior decorator, but she said, oh my God, I love this. I love these cards. I would like to give them to all of my clients as a gift. So again, I want you to think past selling one-to-one. You can, but selling like many to one, right? So that is another way.
Wow.
All right, so we are done over here with these guys. So I'd love if there's any, I don't know if there's any questions. You have any questions, Christine, so far about any of that?
I think like people are there. I can see that the wheels churning with our audience, because they're talking about, you know, the wiping cards and what if you do that? Well, so they're thinking, Rosie, they really are thinking about how this could work and how this can be a game changer in their business and for their clients. Right? This is very exciting. And you mentioned my favorite word, which is collaboration, right?
Oh, right, exactly. I mean, you could just be like, oh my God, this one, that, like, how fun, you know, multiple deck pulls of all different kinds of things. It's like, it's very cool.
Yeah. And really, if people are thinking, you know, I'm not quite sure, you know, what I want to do, I need some help, you know, Rosie is available. I'm going to scroll her email across the screen also. So if you're like, I'm getting an idea, but I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it, reach out to Rosie. It's Rosie at rosiebattista.com, and drop her a line. She's friendly if you can't tell.
And I love
So
our Robert. Robert's like, that's one of the reasons that Apple's success. I'm an Apple person, right? But one of the reasons is because the stuff it does, it feels good in your hand. You're just so happy, like you're so thrilled that you have this computer or this iPhone, right? And
uh-huh.
that's the same thing. There's something about the tangibility of things. And we don't want to lose that in this digital world. Like digital, it's super important, it's super valuable.
Hmm.
But there's just something that's slightly, magic about the holding it.
Hmm.
So
Did you
great.
want to talk to us a little bit about bundles, Rosie?
I want to talk to you. Yes, I do. I want to show you a couple more things that you can do because we're only up to number 7 out of 10. Bundles. Bundles. This is super cool. Okay. So, if you have a book, um, this is a really good next step for you because look at all the experts that knew that they should have a card deck too, right?
Uh-huh.
So right there, like you can be the next one. This was my series. I had a book, a cookbook, a journal, and the card deck. And the card deck was my favorite one. If someone said to me, I don't want the whole package, I just want one thing, I knew that the card deck was going to be the thing that they were actually going to
Hmm.
take action with. And so without action, you got nothing. You got a book that's dusting on the side of the bed. So
Right.
if the only thing you can do is get your people to take action, like if it's one small step at a time, that's all we ever can take, right? So that's just the super cool thing about that. And this is another example. So Lana wrote this book. She had the food codes, and she said, there's like 12 chapters in my book, and it's all different ways to access your intuitive like eating. And she said, but the thing I love the most is the muscle testing, but it's only one
Hmm.
chapter. So she created the card deck on muscle testing, teaching a person how to do muscle testing. Imagine every day you're learning more and more different methods for your muscle testing. It's just super cool. Love it. And
Hmm.
here's another, card deck with a journal. That's another thing that's a perfect set because then they actually, take the experience of the cards or the thought process, the reflection, and they bring it into a journal. So now you're getting multiple products. Again, I see the journal just said, I'd like to get Rosie's cookbook journal and card set because people love that. Yes, Cheryl, connect with me. You got my email. Please reach out.
We
I will
just
make sure
dropped
that
it
you
in
get
chat.
that.
Grab it.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Okay, so again, right? Think about your book. And so maybe if you don't have a book yet, but think about your blogs, right? What parts of it do you love to highlight? What parts do you want to leap out and teach on a deeper level and make available? Again, that's like, I call it the peanut butter to your jelly, right? Like it complements all of your other things. So, all right. So you're probably saying, okay, how do I make money? I want profits, da, da, da. You can always sell your deck on Amazon. We saw this Simple Packs. You sell it on Amazon. A lot of my clients go to Etsy and just not throwing the thing up there on Etsy, but check out what she did. She did a financial challenge
Okay.
and plus the card deck in the bag. So you're buying the challenge and you get the card deck. So she
Hmm.
was able to up the cost a little bit. People are like, oh, I get the card deck for free and I'm joining this challenge. So it's just all in like how you're playing with it, but you're offering, imagine, you're actually physically talking to a person, what it can turn into when you actually, this, Christine, if you're
Hmm.
actually meeting a person face to face in the room, now you invited people not just to buy your deck, but to meet you in a room and to really share your amazing stuff. And again, Etsy, this is another one of my clients. And I'm going to say right now, like I tell everyone in the beginning, I'm not responsible for you becoming a serial card deck creator. She's got like 6. Many people have 4, 6, so when you come in and you're like, I have too many ideas, it's fine. You put them in an idea book and you get to them because then you understand the skill
I
and
could
you
see this
have it.
being very addicting. I'm just
Yes.
saying.
Right. So this is her beautiful little collection of all of her cards. So super cool. And one of the things, I had gone to a couple months ago to Barnes and Noble, and I was like shocked at how big the card deck shelf had gotten because usually it was just like a couple that were up front. This is like they had every genre, every size, every shape, every price. I was like, oh my God, how this is exciting.
They're at the
So,
bookstore. I never even thought to look there, right? But
oh
it
yeah,
makes sense.
totally. And local bookstores also, because they love to have people come in and, show off and do card readings. So in your local area, you can do that, which is so much fun. So this right here is something called Jungle Scout. And this is something you use to check on Amazon and see what things are selling for and all of that. So here we have $14,000 a month on this 1 month on this card deck. So,
Wow.
yeah, super cool. So you can see the point of me showing you this is you just can see that cards are hot and people buy them and people collect them and people use them and all of that. And here's another one. These are just like icebreaker conversation cards. And you can see the price down here. I think it's 6,800 or something like that. So super cool.
Wow.
Okay, this game changer. This really blew my mind, right? Because we all know, like, you're here for a reason. You have a business for a reason. You have a dream, and it was planted on your heart. We do the things we do because of that. And this was one of my clients that she came into the course and she said, well, I just want to tell you that I never finish anything. She was already like feeling really bad about herself. And she said, I wrote this, I wrote like this card deck idea 5 years ago, and it's in my bio. And this is what she said. And then when she came in, she finally brought it to life, and she was so happy and changing so many lives with it. But not only other people's lives, but hers, because she could take away that idea that she doesn't finish things. Right. So, we don't want to have products that we don't finish, and especially when they're products of a powerful nature that are serving and helping people. And this was a woman that came to me, and all she wanted to do was help people heal with her cards. And she just would not, she had this dream. And then she emails me about a year later after making her cards. And she said, I was accepted and approved by the International Kinesiology College. I was like, what? And now she's speaking all over. And she was teaching people how to heal themselves with this process of its frequency numbers and all that. And her cards are just the tool. But imagine, like, it just started with the card deck. And it extended out to, the kinesiology college. Like, how cool is that? So
to start with a simple dream and be able to build it with a card deck and then just keep building it into the whole business. That might be where you start.
Like, so just like take a breath for a minute. I know I'm talking really fast because, like she said, I'm originally from New York to New Jersey. So, you could, there's a replay and all that. But just take that in for a minute. Like, your dream helps people. So, like, don't just say, oh yeah, that's a dream. Like, a dream is just a reality, like when you act on it, right? So don't let all the things that are going, like, how am I going to do it? Robert, you're talking my speed.
It's true.
You don't get the New York out of the person. It's just not ever happening. So anyway, so like the question is, what would you love? Like, what would you really love? Right. So
share your passion with someone else. I love this.
Right.
And then really do.
And then this is the double game changer. So I witnessed after, like, all of these students and all of the students that have come through my program, the hundreds and hundreds, I would always ask them, like, well, what did you learn about yourself? And they always learn things about themselves, because when we unlock our creativity, when we actually have to get past that fear of, like, oh, I'm actually going to make something that someone else is going to look at and, like, actually have, is a little more scary. You can't go delete it. Right. So, but this transformation that happens to you as the creator is just, it's really magical. It moves the needle in all the directions of your business as well. So, I just kind of love this quote, and you can't not make light of it, that, when we move towards our creativity, that's really who we are. Right. And then, we just become, we find ourselves more. Right. And we're able to give more. So it's just really a beautiful thing.
Rosie, you're talking after my own heart, because I always talk about, we have a God-given gift and we have a God-given purpose. And to me, your card deck is a way to just bring that to life.
Yeah, totally. Really beautiful. So these are just a couple people. Martin, so just so you can see the different genres also. So Martin has like this tremendous course, and you could see his warrior to warrior, really helping, men to, well, he's saying that doing the cards really stretched him to really even get to understand his course a little more and to understand the problem, like the places where people really needed to have more support and help. So if you have something already in place, okay, maybe there's the look at where do they need that little extra bump of help and everything like that.
Ooh, as a supplement to something you have where they can dive in deeper on something that you didn't originally put in the course, or you don't have time to cover in the course, right?
Yeah,
But as an add-on. Ooh, I like that,
100%.
Rosie.
So good. So good. And this woman, Sandra, she was out the gate. She knew she wanted something, and she really, she created this tool where she's also teaching people to help other people with it. So that's just, that whatever you're creating is multiplying itself all the time. And this is, I call it really the gift that keeps on giving, the gift to you, the gift to other people as well. And then this was, this one I love because Anya, I had no idea she was doing all this research, but when she first came, she said, I did all the research and I looked at every single card deck person out there that was offering something. And she said, I noticed that Rosie was the only one who people actually finished. She said, so that was clear to me that I was like, I'm finishing. I want to finish. I don't want to be just taking some course that I'm not finishing. So,
right. Don't be part of the 92%. Take your course with Rosie.
Exactly. So you might be saying, so just for those of you that are asking the questions about, well, what about the numbers and all that? So let's just talk numbers really quick. For example, if you printed 50 decks, this is always a question. So, and they cost $10 each. That's your out-of-pocket expense of $500. And then if you retail the deck for like $45, you have $22.50, and your return on investment is $17.50.
Those are pretty good numbers.
Not bad, right? Yeah. Not too shabby. And then the good news is that if you hold on one second.
So if you print 100 decks, the cost of the print goes down, which makes sense because you're purchasing in bulk. So that makes sense. So instead of being $10.35 for a deck, it's only going to cost you $6.26. That makes sense. That's a good savings.
Yeah. And so, that it just always gets better from there, right? The more, but you have options. And one of the things one of my specialties is finding a way for everyone to do it within their budget, their brand, their needs. So there's always a way to get your deck printed from like small quantity up to larger quantity, whatever is working for you.
Well, and they're famous for courses, things, and books is pre-sale, right? So if you already know what you're going to do, if you need that startup money to buy the cards originally, right?
Yes.
So do a pre-sale.
Yes, and you are like the goddess of like helping people understand how to do that. So that's a great.
I'm gonna pull the message up here on the board. So it's cheaper than the cost of writing a book, and you get your message out as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing.
I love that. That's it right there, Robert. Thank you.
Yeah. So good. So good. So again, just think about this. Harnessing your creative genius, creating a great product, being seen as the expert, generating impact, and having tons of fun. I mean, okay.
Win-win-win.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, who would not love this, right? I mean, it's amazing, amazing, amazing. And I don't want you to underestimate the fun factor, because I always remind my people as they're creating, please have fun, please have fun, please have fun, because you're putting energy into an energetic type of product. And so, you have all the support you need when you are just really just like letting go and having so much fun doing it, that your people are going to have fun doing it too. And again, we know what that does to people, right? So again, it's the gift that keeps on giving. And one of the things that I say is, obviously I can't jump through the computer and go to every, come to Texas and get you. but I do everything in my power to get you. I do not really leave you alone until you finish your card deck. Because that's my guarantee that no one gets out without a deck, because I love that, because I, like you, Christine, my purpose, my mission is to help people deliver their gift to the world. in whatever that looks like. But to me, it looks like a product, and to me, it
It
looks
looks
like
like a
a
card
card deck.
deck. Well,
Right.
and so basically you're saying is they get an accountability partner then. Somebody who's going to
They,
help get them, coach them along the way to make
they
sure this
really
project
do.
gets done.
They really do. And, can you make a card deck on your own? Yeah. Will you? Probably not. Probably not. It might be one of those other things that you'll get to at some time. But when you have someone saying, well, we're meeting next week, and what are you going to do when you show up next week? What are you going to show me and have this stuff? Then, we're all like that. That's how we operate.
A little accountability is a good thing. Yeah.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, right? So this was also, this was Alex who had the walking card that she goes, I just loved having the assurance that no one got out, because it just makes that like I really do care about my people. I don't just give you a course and say bye. And a lot of people have said to me, well, why do you do the live parts? Just sell the course. And I'm like, well, no, because what if they have questions? I want to be able to, this is the type of thing where you want your questions answered. You need the feedback, you need the support, you need the group, you need the accountability. And so I never want to give that up, because then I learn so much from people also. So,
Yeah, Rosie, you're about relationships like I am, so I get it.
Exactly. So again, I hope I've inspired you to really think about, how this can work for your business and for your clients and all of it. And if you, we're good, but if you want to stay, I'm going to go into, Rich is like, and a chuckle and a twinkle in your eye. You can't underestimate the power of fun. Yeah. So good. So good. I'm going to show you what, I'm going to invite you to take a look at what my course would offer you. And if you
tell us about your program, Rosie, because, there's going to be people that are interested. If they're not, that's fine. They can sign out. But if they go, tell us more, Rosie.
Right. Okay. There we go. The easy path. The easy path, because the easy path is always, again, like you could do it yourself. You can. Everybody can do everything. We could all do everything ourselves.
But it's nice to have a coach. I always talk about that. Someone to help guide you along the way. Someone to answer your questions.
And you know what? I made just about every mistake and then some that you could make when sending stuff to, honestly, like sometimes I still, just on my most recent one, made one. I'm like, wow, look at that shit. Right. It is so easy when you don't have other, it's so easy, but I've condensed like years of frustration into, you being able to get it done, because I share all of my mistakes that I've made so that you don't make them. Right. And
second set of eyes is nice on everything. I'm just
always. And things that you don't even know that you don't know until you
don't know that you don't know.
Right. And so, with the whole process, again, I make it easy, and I take you through in my program. It's way more than just a course, because I take you through everything from your idea, because this is something that people always ask, well, what's included? Like from your idea to your content, to the packaging, to the printing, to the design, and then to like, what are you going to do with it when you do have it? And if you love it,
that's great. Yeah, no, you tell us exactly what to expect. I love it.
Yes. And this is the cool part. You have 6 guided modules and action guides that go with it. So you can watch them at your own pace. And you have 2 years to do it. So, which is cool. I put it at that because I said, well, if you don't do it after 2 years, like you kind of need a, like if it's just a forever thing, like you'll take forever to do it. And I've seen that over time. It's like people.
Deadlines are good. Deadlines give you a reason to finish something. Yeah, no.
And it's way, you could finish it in 13 weeks. So 2 years, you totally could do it. All right. And then like I take all the guesswork out of it, right? And, give you all the things. And this is the amazing part, is you have a community, and the community shares, and people tell me this is the best community ever. This is the part I love. And then there's the live parts, which is what I was saying, that I do not like to, I don't want to give up right now. It's in the program. And so we meet for 3 months live every other week. So in between, you have time to do the work, and then you come back, and it's really super cool. And there's just a couple things people say. Again, you get all these things. This is like your success path, your success map, so that you're going through all the things. You get a card deck tracker, common mistakes before printing, all of these. I call them case studies, but I'm actually taking people through the the design parts. You get to really watch and witness me taking people from what they started with to the final product and how great it looks and all of that. And then I do a spotlight marketing interview with you, and share it everywhere and share your cards everywhere.
Little promotion there. Love that.
Yes, which is awesome and so much fun. And you get your stuff out there. And we have a special deal for people today. Normally, if you were to go, this is all the things. If you were to go on my site, this is what you would find. However, Christine and I wanted to do like a special deal for people that, are watching this program. And someone put it up there already. Sign up for, thank you. This is a special webinar page that Christine is sending you to, where until, I think we said Tuesday.
Right. Yes.
Tuesday at midnight, you can get all of this for $9.97. And that includes all the live parts with me.
The courses, the step-by-step, the whole process.
The guarantee, all of it.
Wow. I really appreciate you making that offer to our audience here, because, it's business owners, right? You're always looking to save a little bit of money somewhere. So when you can save just a little bit and you can invest that money, that $500 that you saved, put that into your first card deck purchase, right?
Yeah. I mean, and so if you just look at it like, I always like to have in my own head, okay, well, if I invest this, what's my possibility? But if you just did one 30-day challenge and you only got 50 people in it, you would make $5,000. So you're blah, 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 you're swimming in the black there, right? And also, here's the other thing I decided too. If you're like, can't really get that right now, but anyone could start for $188 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have I made a 6-month payment plan, so you can actually start for $188.
Right. Gives you a place to start, and, a little bit easier to budget. Because I know for business owners, a lot of times, it's a monthly budget is easier than trying to do big chunks at once. So
yeah. And then
that gives you time to start pre-sales and be able to pay for it. So I love it. This is going to be so much fun. So we dropped the link in chat. So if this is something that you want to jump into, go check that out. Save that link, bookmark it so you've got it later. And you can bookmark this and come back and watch this again. All right, we're going to have the videos out there. So if you want to review something, go back and watch it again. And we had Rosie's email up. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up again. This way, if you want to reach out to her, you still got some questions.
Robert is funny.
Yep.
Oh, Robert.
So I'm going to throw her email across again. So reach out to Rosie Battista at rosie@rosiebattista.com. And that's a great way to get a hold of her. We are really excited about this. This is going to be so much fun. So if you want to come have fun with us and build some cards, right, come hang out, come have fun, join the group. We're going to have, it's just going to be great. I'm really looking forward to this, Rosie.
Yeah, so fun. And yes, if you're like, Steph, you're like, well, I don't know. Like I have, a business and I don't see it yet. Like, send me an email.
All right. Do we need any more slides up, or are we done with our slides?
We're good.
We're good. Okay. I want to remove them down. So if you have any questions, drop them in chat. And we'll try and hit some of those, and we're going to scroll back and see what questions we missed. We probably missed a couple of them. But thank you so much for coming and playing with us today. Hopefully you learned something and you're ready to have fun and make some cards of your own. This is just, I love what you do, Rosie. You know that. As soon as we started talking, I was like, girlfriend, I love you.
and I love I love how you connect people and network. That's definitely a special gift.
It's just, there's so many possibilities. So I know we had some questions, like I think Cheryl Roberts had asked about, does anybody ever put them on a key, like a chain, like a
yes, you can,
so that you don't lose them?
Yes, they are. There's a little hole the printers do, and they put like one of those,
little hole punch,
really thick key rings, and
nice.
And actually, I have to show you, because this is someone made this. Here it is, right here.
Oh, there it is.
And so
Oh, way
this
cute.
is a training deck for kids, and it has a little a thing that goes with it. And so she made a little kit. But yeah, so it's super cool. Like, the thing about, you could like actually just grab it like your car keys, so then you're never losing anything either. It's just super cool.
And I like it small, concise,
Yeah,
you could put it in your
yeah,
glove box, you
yeah,
could put it, in your purse,
yeah.
whatever it is,
It's
and
so
have it
nice.
nice and handy.
Yeah, so good.
That's awesome. And if you want something to write on, like you said, you could laminate it or different kinds of paper.
Yeah,
There are some really fun ways to use this. And I was just thinking, I
yes.
know Nate Sauce is in the audience, and I know he likes to build websites for healers and coaches, right? So
Oh,
if he was to talk to his clients and be like, did you know about this? Right? I mean, he could have it match the website with matching the
oh my
cards
God.
and
Woo.
make it all
Yes.
nice
And okay, wait. Okay.
branding together.
This is Nate, right? And Nate, we can do this, like they could do a card pull right on the front of their computer. So,
Mm-hmm.
so good.
Any more
Good
questions? If you
stuff.
have questions, holler out. Of course, you can always email Rosie. She'll get back to you and answer those questions for you. But there is so many possibilities. And I'm just reading through the chat going, yeah, that's a good idea. People are putting in. So feel free to hop back in there, Rosie, and reach out to anybody that commented in the chat. But this is going to be fun. And we're so glad you're here and being part of this. So if you know somebody that would be interested in this, be sure to tag them so they can come back and watch the replay. And we just want to say thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rosie,
Thank
for
you,
being here.
Christine.
All right, y'all. See you later. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.